said I was going to make £1 million in 3 days, and I made a 1.2 in 3 days.
Really?
But here's the thing, it didn't just come out of nowhere. What happened was
Tom Smyth.
Tom Smyth.
Tom Smyth, from a dangerous early life growing up in Northern Ireland.
I remember one time working on a police station roof. A policeman came running out and says, "Get off the roof." They had intelligence that there was a sniper close by that was about to start killing workmen. That was us.
To becoming an ultra entrepreneur.
Success is a lifestyle. Success is being super healthy, super wealthy, really consistent.
Do you ever procrastinate?
I don't even understand the
word.
definition. I don't even want to try and say it.
Yeah.
The disgusting little word for little weird people.
He is the founder of the highly successful Dream Mentoring Program,
Property tycoon with 550 properties.
10x public speaker,
Best-selling author.
and CEO of 12 thriving companies.
How much money would you say is enough money?
I think.
One of the biggest reasons you want to get you on was just talk about, the businesses that you're part of, because there's so much to unpack. What was really interesting is, friends with Grant Cardone, your 10x speaker there, 550 units, I think, property-wise.
Yeah.
Molly McCann's coach, all of this kind of stuff that we will unpack. But I'd really like just an introduction from yourself, gives a bit of background, where you started, where you grew up and how it all began.
So I'm Tom Smyth. I'm from Belfast. I grew up in a cycle of violence in Northern Ireland, better known as the Troubles. I was born in 1974. Our country entered into a bitter 30-year civil war. And unfortunately, growing up in Northern Ireland, death and terror and bombs going off was part of our normal life. Our abnormal life became normal. And through that, growing up in a war, unemployment was at the highest. And we had the highest unemployment in Europe because you were living in the middle of a civil war. But my mum and dad both had jobs, and we were very lucky. We didn't have very much money at all, but we were very loved. My parents are still alive, and they've done an amazing job. And one thing I did take from my parents was hard work works. It was always going to work, and it still works right now. And it's in me, it's in my DNA. And my dad was a postman. He went out to work every day, and there was people not coming home sometimes from work. But my dad done the community proud, serving the post. My mum was a care worker. She still is at 74 years old. But at the age of 10 years old, I realised that we couldn't really afford the best trainers, the best tracksuits. My mum and dad didn't believe in debt, which was great. And I understand that. Debt now is debt can be a good thing, but then debt was a bad thing in our house. And I got my first job working in a fish and chip shop at the age of 10 years old.
Same as me, yeah.
And yeah.
Fish and chip. I was 14, I wasn't 10, but yeah, that's where I started.
And the young entrepreneur was born,
Yeah.
working in a fish and chip shop, and I get paid £10 a week. And I was the kid that went to the chippy every day after school. And I remember sometimes in the heart of winter, it was so cold at the back of this fish and chip shop. I would have stood in a hot bucket of water shivering. And sometimes you'd have had to break the ice on these big baths that you put the chips into. But it really woke me up into realising money gave me a choice.
Yeah.
And other times I would have simply looked at my money box knowing I put that money there.
Yeah.
Well, at the age of 10 as well, doing that and making your own money. When I'm guessing the people around you weren't your age. They're not going out to the fish and chip shop after school to go and work.
Yeah, well, I don't really know many people that started working at 10.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
And it was definitely one of my proudest moments too, getting my first job. And since then, I've just became a serial entrepreneur.
And since then, always been kind of on the right path and focused with business and stuff like that and work and making money? Or has there been kind of a bit of a roller coaster to get where you are now?
Well, yeah, there's been roller coasters for
Yeah.
me. I've owned restaurants and car washes, and I've failed my whole way to get to where I'm at.
Yeah.
You fail, you make all the mistakes, you end up where you are. I've lost huge amounts of money and property.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to nearly lose a shirt off my back.
Yeah.
But all of that can either make you or break you.
Yeah.
And it made me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It made me, as far as I'm concerned, bulletproof.
100%.
All of those stumbling blocks are the foundations
Yeah.
of your success. Failure should be your foundations. What have I learned from this?
Yeah.
And then it's just about remembering little sentences like, if I don't give up, I cannot lose.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Whereas most people nowadays, I know we'll speak about MMA, but most people tap out.
Yeah.
I don't know how to tap out.
Yeah. Love that.
You know?
So it's also not giving yourself the option to tap out. I think a lot of people probably doing business at some point will want to tap out, but it's whether you go, do you know what? Not happening. Just keep pushing on.
I believe, like, I know you guys will touch on this with Grant Cardone, but like Grant Cardone, who's a friend of mine, I am very lucky to be able to say I believe what he believes. Success is my duty. Success is my duty for my wife, for my kids, for my church, for charities. Like, I'm working with an African charity at the minute in the Ivory Coast, where I'm very lucky to be able to help provide money to build wells for people because they've no fresh drinking water. So whatever way you want to look at it, success is my duty. Whether it's getting on a private jet in the next few weeks or buying another well so amazing people in a little town or village can have fresh drinking water. No matter what, it's still my duty. I'm even getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like what we take for granted.
Definitely.
So I want to be, if I had to describe what I want to end up from a success point of view, I want to end up that wealthy that I can help thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
And you will be the first people I've ever said this to. I will definitely be going to Africa before Christmas. It'll be all over my socials to help dig holes and get drinking water for people.
Really?
Because surely we're all supposed to help each other in this life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
You know? And that's definitely going to be my
And do you
next big
think
commitment.
that's what motivates you now? Is it the money now, or is it all the stuff that comes with money to be able to
I
help
think
people
money
and
is
stuff
an
like that?
amazing byproduct that comes with success.
Yeah.
It's the buzz of the deal.
Yeah.
Of course the money's great.
Yeah.
But I love having it so I can give it away.
Yeah.
I really do. I love giving money away to charity, and I love being able to do the right thing with it, or treat somebody, or, you know, give a bonus to a staff member or a team. So that's what you do with money.
Perfect. So yeah, we'll definitely unpack all that stuff. Definitely want to come on to things like Grant Cardone, how you met him, and all that kind of stuff. But if we just talk about business specifically, so chip shop at 10 years of age.
Yeah.
When did you then start your first business? What was that? Was it property or was it something else?
Yeah, I became a young contractor in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And it was quite different than anywhere else in the world because, number one, there was still a war going on. And number two, I got offered an opportunity that nobody else was really being offered. Somebody offered me, would you like to earn more money than anybody else? And I'm like, yeah, it's me. I'm your guy. And I said, so what do you need to do? And he says, well, if you want to come and work for the security forces. And I said, what does that look like? You'll be a contractor working on police stations and army bases, and we'll pay you a lot more money than anybody else. It's called danger money. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm interested in this. Because instantly when I said yes to this, I then became a target to one of the sides of the community who didn't like the British Army or didn't like the police. But at the age of 18, I was completely fearless. And I did not have fear in my body because you grew up in this abnormal situation.
So you think that's because of the war and everything that went on at that stage?
Because it was abnormal, so you got to the point where you became fearless.
Literally couldn't be worse. It's like,
and I remember one time working on a police station roof, and the policeman came running out and says, "Get off the roof!"
Yeah.
And they had intelligence that there was a sniper close by that was about to start killing workmen. That was us.
Yeah.
So we got down, we had our lunch, and I said to the guys, what do you want to do? I seen the army and the police going to look for where the sniper was, and our lads all said, well, sure, the guy's not there now. Let's get back on the roof. And we'd still done a full day's work.
Yeah.
But
bloody hell.
that was normal.
Yeah.
In an abnormal situation.
Yeah.
So do you think that resilience then from that, which is living in the abnormal in all the time, and I mean, look, for most people, if they heard there's a sniper trying to shoot you while you're working, most people would go, well, fuck this, I'm not doing this anymore.
Probably wouldn't go
but
back
you
to
just
work.
got back up on the roof and started working again. Do you reckon that resilience is what's got you partly to where you are?
Unfortunately, both sides of our community were killing each other all the time. And death was a normal part of our society. Not a normal part that was acceptable, but it was one of those things. I also chose to go and do this job, and I knew the risks. And at 18, when you had no fear, the rewards definitely outweighed the risk. Would I do it now? No. But like, I'm 50 years old now. It was 32 years ago I did this.
Too much to lose.
And just to touch on, I am so proud of our country that we found conflict resolution and we have peace. And in 1994 we did find peace as a country. And I also totally would like to thank all the community leaders in our country for doing that and putting the work in, and the politicians.
Yeah.
Because growing up in Northern Ireland, I never thought that we would see peace, ever.
Yeah.
But that resilience is definitely in my DNA, where nothing fizzes on me, ever.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And to touch on something very quickly is beforehand as well, and seeing all your stuff on socials and so on, you're a very grateful man. You're very grateful for so many things. Where does that come from? Because a lot of people aren't.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. Today I had to kick myself into place because I was pushing so hard. I had to take a step back and realise what I had to be grateful for. My gratitude this morning was waking up, having a fresh cup of coffee. I woke up in Manchester this morning. I went to the gym. I got the train down. I've already went and had an amazing day in London. But it's the gratitude for me being a granda, for speaking to a taxi driver there who was an amazing guy and being able to help him on the story of alcoholism. But it's about having an attitude of gratitude. Like this morning I sent a delivery of donuts to my own office to thank all my team, because I must be hard work to work for. I get it, because I'm so driven, but you have to have an attitude of gratitude. And one of the things that I really love was, I was reading an article on Einstein about 5 years ago. Einstein, as he walked through the city where he lived, he used to, every time his foot touched the ground, he'd have said, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I've copied this.
Wow.
So sometimes when I'm walking down the street, I'll say thank you 100 or 200 times, just to emit that frequency out to the universe that I'm grateful.
I think that's so powerful, because it's something that I definitely, I don't know about yourself, Ollie, but just don't practice that enough. Like being grateful.
It changes everything.
Like waking up, because like me and the missus will not argue, but like be talking about just life and things that we're struggling with. But it's like so many people have it so much
Can
worse.
I say something to you right now?
Yeah.
Are you wearing a really nice shirt, gorgeous pair of shoes, a pair of trousers? Did you have a shower this morning?
Yeah.
Have you got an iPhone?
Yeah.
Have you got a gorgeous watch on?
It's not as good as
Does
yours.
your missus love you?
Yeah.
Have you got money in your account?
Yeah.
There's 25 things to be grateful for right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Because like I'm driving up here in the I'm in a taxi, and I've seen 7 or 8 amazing people lying in doorways or standing with addiction, begging in the street.
Yeah.
We're sitting here like fucking billionaires.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's right
100%.
around you, right? It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Your gratitude should be everywhere.
This is something I see quite a lot of successful people doing, as well as, I know your schedule is nuts anyway. I've heard about your schedule, your daily
up at
routine.
2 a.m.
But you get up and
3:30. Yeah. 3:30. Yeah.
But like I see a lot of success. Why do you think gratitude is so, like so many successful people actually practice gratitude and get up in the morning? One of the first things they do is actually write down what they're happy and thankful for the day.
Why would you not?
Yeah.
Like when you've got an amazing life, why would you not be thankful for it?
Yeah.
You know, like I'm always thankful for my sobriety, for my wife and my kids. You know, I'm also thankful sometimes for the darkest day of my life, because it reminds me how amazing it is to live in the light.
Yeah.
You know, for my mum, my dad, for being a granda, for my beautiful daughters, for my amazing staff, for all my clients, for all my businesses, for the lessons life's taught me, for the taste of a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I cut an orange open, I'm saying thank you as I'm eating it, because I can taste the orange.
Yeah.
Like you can go through high levels of gratitude when you really find it.
And then the sobriety as well. You talk, quite openly about that. Was there a point that you was struggling with addiction and
Well, yeah,
alcoholism?
of course, yeah.
How long did that last?
From
Talk
I
about
was
that.
18 until I was 30, I didn't drink.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I was
18 to 30.
When I was 30, I found alcohol, and it turned me into a rock star, which I thought. And then I went on years of drinking and enjoying it. And although people don't realise, alcohol's an aggressive disease. Even all the beautiful women who's listening to this podcast see this wine o'clock. Wine o'clock's a killer disease too, because it ends up 1 bottle a night, 2 bottles a night, 3 bottles a night, and then the next thing you're dead. You know, but alcohol is cunning and baffling and very powerful. And I decided to start going to AA meetings.
Yeah.
When I went to AA meetings, I thought everybody's crazy in here. However, I was probably the craziest person in the room. And now my recovery is my best friend.
Yeah.
And I did not do this alone.
Yeah.
I remember being on my knees saying, God, I need your help here, big time.
Yeah.
And I might say the F word, but like, God saved my life.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm very aware of it. I read my Bible every day.
Yeah.
I hand it all over to God. Everything I've done and I'm continuing to do, I owe it to God.
Yeah.
But what we would say in AA, I am living the life of my wildest dreams in sobriety. I'm the most reliable person. I live a 12-step recovery program, and I try to make amends and do the right thing. And I've never felt anything quite like it. It's amazing.
Amazing.
Do you think that yeah, absolutely. Do you think because I've seen it firsthand as well with friends, with family and things like that, where they've made a lot of money for themselves, they've been very successful, and then the drink starts coming. Is that the same thing that happened with you?
Yeah, I was living a rock and roll rock star lifestyle. At 30, I'd made a shit ton of dough.
Yeah.
I also must have thought I've lost out here because I didn't drink from I was 18 until I was 30.
Right.
Yeah. How long was that period then? So 30
the 18-year-old version of me was a lot more mature than the 30-year-old man who found alcohol.
Yeah.
Because the 18-year-old kid realised alcohol doesn't suit you.
Yeah.
And 30 onwards, how long was that period where you was kind of enjoying alcohol?
A good 10 year plus.
10 years smashing that. Would you say that in terms of success and focus and everything else in between, that when you was drinking for that 10-year period, you wasn't as driven as you are now?
Yeah, because let me give you the easiest calculation in the world, right? Anybody who has a drink on a Saturday night and gets half rode off, like most people do, will definitely lose 3 days of their week.
Yeah. And that's why I asked, because I had a pretty heavy weekend.
Let's think about this. Multiply it by 52.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're losing nearly half of the year.
Do you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
speaks for itself.
Yeah.
52 multiplied by 3, they even need to do the math.
Yeah.
That's what you're losing. So when you go into peak performance and you're not losing anything and you get more clear and you have vision, you're sharp as a razor, you're sharp as a tack, you're in the flow. It's completely, it makes common sense.
Definitely.
And you're not losing out.
No.
You're really not.
You're
It's
actually
just-
gaining because you're healthier, you're more productive,
it's
everything else in between.
alcohol
And that's why I asked,
bollocks.
because, you know,
It is, but
I didn't, you know, I drink on the weekend. Me and Ollie both drink, you know, and I drunk quite heavily. It was a bank holiday
you
weekend.
can go to AA meet with me. It's okay.
Even
I'll
now,
take it to-
but it's one of those, because like, how far do you take it to then think, oh, I need, you know, AA meetings? But you know, I'm not an alcoholic, but I drink socially on the weekends, and every time I do that, it then impacts Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
That's it.
and I lose those days.
Yeah.
And I know that every time.
But then a Sunday you're rode off, so it's nearly 4 days.
Yeah, 4 days. So, but I know that every time that I have a spout of just no alcohol at all, I'm more focused, I'm
Elite.
happier,
Yeah.
I've got natural energy,
Yeah.
I go to the gym more.
Your missus is probably super happy too.
Yeah. Like everything is just better.
Well, I think it's also like I had that realization fairly recently as well, is that for my job, my company, real estate agents, and I'm very lucky to be handling millions and millions and millions of pounds worth of properties at the moment, and I've got to be on my A game with them at any one time, because
Of course you do.
there's issues all the time, and
But
I
your
realized
reputation's everything to you.
Correct.
So you can't drop the ball.
exactly, and I realized very recently when I had a heavy night and I was just off the next, like I was just done the next day, and I have clients calling me and I'm kind of giving them half-assed responses,
Not good enough.
when in reality I'm dealing with the 1% in my job all day long every day.
Yeah.
They're on the ball with their life. I need to be there as well,
100%.
which is why I've started to try and rein it in a little bit more. I only have a drink now really on a special occasion, but I'm now trying to work that out as well, because I've got bigger, I've got more unhealthy since I've been drinking more. It's not been great, and I need to get back into peak shape so that my company reflects in the same way as well. So
I
hearing
couldn't
your
agree with you
story is
more.
amazing.
Like, success is number one, it's your duty, but success is a lifestyle. Success is being super healthy, super wealthy, really consistent. You want to be looking like $1 million or $1 billion when you're speaking to your clients,
Yeah.
instead of feeling like shit.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to someone that's in that mind frame of, you know, they want to succeed, they want to do well, they do go out and have a drink on the weekend, and they just want to knock it on the head? What would your advice be to someone that is?
I just think it's amateur hour.
Yeah,
It really is. If
Yeah.
you want to be a super elite professional,
Yeah.
you know, I wish I'd have done it sooner.
Yeah.
I'd probably own Russia or something now.
Yeah.
But really, but it's just, you become elite.
Yeah.
You do not miss a trick. You're replying to emails and WhatsApps, and I work in 2 different time zones currently.
Every time I text him, he's just constantly online.
Yeah, I'm working in Australia at the minute, and I'm working in Arizona. I'm working 2 time zones.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Arizona's 7 hours behind, and Australia's obviously ahead. But when I'm up at 3:30, sharp as a razor, it allows me to contact those people before I start my journaling.
So how do you wake up that early and be, because I've listened to your stuff before as well, how do you wake up that early and be as sharp as anything? Because most people, even if they wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, they're still like, oh, for the first hour and a half of the day.
I think the best sentence to describe it would be is you don't wake up that person, you build that person.
Right.
And I would say that to all my amazing clients on Dream Mentoring, you got to build that man or you got to build that woman. And you do it over a period of time. Like I was a 6 o'clock guy, then a 5 o'clock guy, and then I went, hold on, 4 a.m. will change my world. And then I'm going to say I have an amazing client on my program called Mike Taylor, who was starting to get up at 3:45 and I was getting up at 4 and I'm like, this guy's beating me, bro. So he loved this. So I thought I have to beat Mike.
Yeah.
So I went to 3:30 now.
Yeah.
So, because I'm not letting anybody beat me on the planet.
And what time, sounds really weird, what time do you go to bed then?
Last night was 11:30.
And you're up at 3:30?
I was up at 3:30, yeah.
Are you not, so I did a psychology degree and I did a lot of sleep psychology as well. You're not worried that that's going to affect your health at some point?
I get my health tested like 4 times a year. And like I'm ready to run through walls.
And you're probably getting quality sleep as
my
well.
My cardio
You're not
is through the roof.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's a really good point.
My strength's through the roof. And I can fall asleep in inside 20, 30 seconds.
I mean,
I'm just out.
Like what you said is a really good point, is that actually in the reality,
quality of it,
quality
the quality, like most people do 8 hours of sleep and you only get about 3 hours of good sleep, whereas with your lifestyle, with your exercise, with everything like that, you're probably getting 95% of that sleep you're getting in is proper quality sleep. So
a good 5 hours sleep for me, I'm in peak performance.
Yeah.
You know,
impressive.
Like I flew to Miami recently and I didn't sleep on the plane and I stayed up late in Miami and nearly 24 hours had passed and I went into the American time zone because I didn't go to sleep. I came home, no jet lag. None.
And what does because you're constantly on the move, like what does your standard week look like? Because I see you here, there, everywhere. Was you in London yesterday?
I was in Manchester. I came down from Manchester this morning.
Yeah. Here, there, everywhere. Private jets.
So yesterday I was Glasgow all day.
Right, okay. I saw you was in a city.
I came down, so I did 4 Dream Mentoring 1-to-1 sessions with top clients. I then did a 1-to-1 session in Manchester last night, 9:15 to 10:30.
Yeah.
I went to bed. I got up this morning. I journaled. I went to the gym at 6 to half 6.
Yeah.
I had all my gear sitting waiting.
Yeah.
At 6:45, I was in a taxi. Then I was in Piccadilly Station at 7, 10 past 7. I was on a first class train, and I worked the whole train journey. And I mean, I probably sent 100 voice messages. And sent 50 emails. Every single second counts. And that's what people don't get. I also treat absolutely everything with urgency. Like, tick, 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 there's a bomb going to go off. That's the level I'm working at. Like, it's Mission Impossible. And I have to finish everything by that time. And when you treat everything with urgency, the momentum that you create, and then when you're creating a team of people that are working at that pace, you become unstoppable.
Do you burn out or do you just crack on?
Yeah, every 6 weeks, sometimes on a Friday, I'll hit the wall slightly. And then what I'll do is I'll go for a recovery massage with my wife. So I'll sleep for an hour during the massage. And then I'll have an easier weekend. But my easier weekend, I'll still be walking the dogs, going to the gym. But I'll watch nonsense on television and just go in there and melt.
Conk out. And how long do you then have like a rest period? Just a couple of days? Or
yeah, like Saturday and Sunday belongs to my wife, Dolores.
Nice. Okay, yeah.
And if she wants, whatever she wants to do, I'll do. But in between anything she wants me to do, I'll find a few naps and I'll just recover.
You touched on Dream Mentoring there, so that's something that I really want to talk about, because clearly just by sitting down, what are we, half an hour in? You can always just tell just that energy is just contagious. And I can imagine that.
I'm sat here going, come on in, I'm up at 3:30 tomorrow, let's go.
I need to send some more WhatsApps. I'm working till midnight tonight. Molly McCann, obviously really prolific UFC fighter, up and coming at the minute. How does one come across, like how do you come across actually becoming her coach? Because you're her coach at the minute.
I was, yeah. It was a strange one, and like the truth of the matter was, I seen her on television and felt the connection to the TV set. That I need to work with her. And I knew a girl that she was very friendly with. They were both together at the time. The meeting happened in Liverpool, and we jailed, and she was like my daughter. You know, I still absolutely adore. I just seen this unique fighter whose belief had been damaged. And that's all had been damaged, because she was still the elite sports star. And then again, like successful business people, I changed her thinking. I had her walking through the streets of Liverpool believing that she was a UFC champion, that she was going to be world champion. And I completely changed their thinking towards the fighting game.
And is that the biggest thing that you teach? Is a way of thinking? It's not like is every client different, or do you have a framework for each client?
Everybody's different, especially at one-to-one level and elite level, like working with Molly. But this whole thing is a thinking game.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. Like, I don't have self-belief.
Yeah.
I have complete and utter self-belief.
Yeah.
As soon as I put my mind to something, it's done.
Yeah.
And I teach that to my clients, you know, about your thinking, but then also about taking the action. Like, I'm not a guy that tries to magnetize things. I will go and get it.
Yeah.
And I also tell my clients to take massive action. So if I'm writing goals, when I'm finished writing them that day, I will be reaching out to people. Sometimes as I'm writing a goal, I'll be emailing or WhatsApping somebody, taking direct action on achieving that goal. And I will attack it all day.
Yeah.
Just to prove a point, during COVID, a friend of mine says to me, have you seen this Grant Cardone guy?
Okay. Is this how you got introduced to?
Yeah, then my wife says to me, look, there's a guy on Instagram, because I wasn't on Instagram. I'm only on it like just coming up to 4 years. And my wife says, this guy Grant is just like you. And I'm like, wow. So I bought his book, 10X.
Yeah.
I bought the audio book, listened to it 16 times.
I read it years
and
ago.
I'm like,
as well,
I'm ready here.
Yeah.
And I said to my friend, I'm going to work with him, you know. And he says, you're going to work with him, a guy from Belfast. He's an American billionaire.
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of COVID. It's starting here. And I'm like, I will definitely do this. So how did I do it? I wrote a goal every single day in the pretense that I had already met him and I had already done an event with him on stage, and I believed it so much in my head, it was done. I then decided, okay, so writing this goal isn't just going to work. I have to completely believe it, but I need to reach out and connect. So I spent $850 on a donut delivery and sent donuts to his entire office. And they started sending me videos of everybody speaking with an Irish accent. Thank you, Tom, for the donuts. And I got the whole office's attention.
Yeah.
I became friends. I'm now very close friends with his president, Jared Glant. I connected with every single person on Instagram and LinkedIn and stayed in touch with them. The next thing, our hotel business, Dream Apartments, we stopped surviving during COVID and we started thriving. And I believed in the 10X format of all in, do 10 times more, 100 times more. I started then sending my videos to Miami of us opening 120 apartments in Manchester during a grade 5 lockdown. 2 weeks in, we were 70% full. 2 weeks later, we were 100% full in the middle of a global pandemic. My point is, they started sending me the videos back with everybody in Miami watching me. And I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And that's because you had that idea, you put the goal, and just on that.
Well, I had to do whatever it took to connect with Grant, because you don't just get an American billionaire to connect with you.
No.
Well, some people would listen to that and say manifestation. It's bullshit. You know, what would you say about that?
Manifestation for me is vision.
Yeah.
So my goal, I wrote the goal and I played the movie in my head that I had already achieved it. So I believed in it. I had the vision that it was going to happen. Manifestation.
Yeah.
But I'm also a massive action taker.
Yeah.
I have a
I think
beautiful.
that's what people get caught up on. They think
course.
that you can just write it down and it will happen.
And all of a
Like, I have a
sudden it
beautiful
comes to you.
Lamborghini sitting at the house. I didn't manifest it.
Yeah.
No.
I worked my fucking ass off to get it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
manifest it.
But it's that visualization thing as well is quite funny, because it's so right in sports. When you say all these like coaches go, visualize you doing that, and then you practice.
Well, yeah, Conor McGregor's a perfect example. He predicted exactly how he was going to beat Jose Aldo, right to the final shot.
You see all the training,
And he'd done it over and over and over, repetition in his head. So when he fought Jose Aldo, he beat him exactly how he said.
Yeah.
But it was repetition and vision.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So how did you end up actually getting in contact with Grant then? How did that come? Because you've got the whole office.
So then I
on
stayed
board.
on it, the whole office, and so then I flew over one of the times. He was supposed to be there. He wasn't. Giving up's not even in my vocabulary. Kept going. And then last year, an opportunity presented itself to me where the amazing Polish guys came to me and said, look, we would really love to do an event with you. It's called Show Me the Money in Warsaw in Poland, but we would like Grant Cardone to be the guest speaker. And I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah.
I reached out to Jared. I said, I'm going to be in Miami on these dates. He says, Grant's going to be there. We went to the studio. I met Grant. I was in his the two of us were he was interviewing me. I was speaking to him. We got on like a house on fire. And the goal then of me doing an event with Mr. Grant Cardone had got one step closer, because he said yes.
Yeah.
March 2024, I had the proud experience to say, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Grant Cardone, and he came onto the screen and was televised live from Miami, and he says, hello, my friend Tom.
Yeah.
So from an idea of massive action taken, from being in Grant's studio to following and writing that goal and believing it and taking the action, my final goal to do an event with Mr. Grant Cardone became real.
Yeah. And is that now like an annual thing as well with because I know he does the 10X conference.
He does 10X, but the event we done was in Warsaw, 2,500 people. I was on stage, Grant come on, and it was a dream come true for me, because it was a dream with a date on it, became a goal, which became a reality. And then people in my mentoring course can say, Tom has a bulletproof system, it works.
Yeah.
Because I've also done it on 20 other things and had them all.
Yeah.
And I just keep winning.
And what would you say is your biggest moment where you wrote something down, it was a goal, and then you just achieved it? What was the biggest thing that you've done?
Well, one of the times,
Other than Grant.
one of the times of putting a lot of work in the background, I said I was going to make £1 million in 3 days.
Yeah.
And I made a 1.2 in 3 days.
Really?
Fuck.
Doing what?
But here's the thing, it didn't just come out of nowhere.
No,
Right?
of course, yeah.
What happened was, I'd really been working super hard with Netflix, a TV channel. And this was November 2020, middle of COVID. So I've been working on it for 3 months. I wrote the goal that I was going to close and make $1 million. Didn't know where it was coming from. Netflix contacted me and said, we'll take an entire building off you in Manchester. We want to rent it for 6 months and we're offering you 1.2. And I'm like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I flew to Dakota in Manchester, the hotel,
lovely place. Yeah,
signed the deal. And 6 months later, we went through some of the COVID, rented all flats. And in July 21, they took a block of flats off me and paid us 1.2.
Amazing. That was in Manchester. And most
Right
of
in the middle of COVID, when the whole place was a ghost town.
Everything's shut down, everyone's struggling. You're there making £1.2 million in 3 days.
Because I'm a hustler.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking hustler. You need to be on it. Also in the middle of COVID, doing SA, service departments, we had to change our business model. So we became an estate agent as well. We done SA, but we also done 3, 6 and 12 month lets. So then the next thing, we were changing our business model altogether, and it worked. Instead of trying to do SA on 120, we done SA on 60 and 60 on long let. It worked.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
You have to adapt and change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you've got how many apartments? 550.
550 across the UK, yeah.
Some people would hear that and be like, where do you even start to get 550 apartments? Like, you know, let alone just getting a couple of buy-to-lets.
Yeah, so
where do you even start?
How do you start? I lived in Dubai.
Yeah.
Back, my daughter's turning 18 this Christmas. I lived in Dubai 16 years ago. And when I say Dubai, I don't mean the Dubai that you see on Instagram. There were 7 towers in the marina, Sheikh Road, no downtown, the Jumeirah Beach and the Burj Al Arab. No Burj Khalifa, nothing.
Yeah.
But I lived at the Grosvenor House Hotel, and half of the hotel was service departments, half of it was the hotel. And I loved this idea of service departments. This is amazing. So when I moved back to Northern Ireland, I decided I want to do SA.
And that's just to be clear as well, that's you own those units. It's not like or is it a rent for rent kind of situation?
No, it's different in different cities. If somebody comes to me today and said, do you want to take 200 flats?
Yeah.
I'm not going to give somebody money for 200, at least the whole block if it's available.
So it's a mix.
Because business always is a mix.
Yeah, of course.
But for me, I wanted to do this so bad. Yeah. And I came back from Dubai. People didn't want to know me. You'd left. You were frowned upon. People didn't like you because you'd left. And I walked the streets of the UK and Ireland for an entire year and was told no. And I mean no constantly. But then this is the resilience of Belfast coming out in your DNA where you don't give up. And I remember a friend saying to me, I've got some news for you. I'm like, what is it? And he says, Marathon, the New York hedge fund's coming to Belfast tomorrow. You know the 2 ghost buildings, the Oval buildings? And I'm like, yeah. So there was 2 beautiful buildings in Belfast that people had defaulted on, 2007, 2008, that were probably 15% occupied. But one of them was 27 stories high, which is the highest residential building in Ireland, by the way. And nobody had ever moved into it. Marathon came from New York and bought both buildings. And from a year being told no, I remember Neil called me and he says to me, Marathon said yes, bro. And I dropped to my knees in the middle of the gym and fucking cried my eyes out. I couldn't control it with happiness, shouting, fucking yes, yes. Because from a year being told no, suddenly when you get a yes, I've never felt anything quite like it.
Yeah.
So my first deal was 75 flats in Belfast.
Yeah.
Since then, we've opened in Liverpool's and Newcastle's and everything else. And Dream Apartments has given me the most amazing life.
Yeah.
I've also, at the very start, I was the head housekeeper. I was the head maintenance guy. I'd done all of it and built a team up around me. I didn't start with a team of people. I did all of it. It's nearly lost me my marriage multiple times because I've been a 7-day-a-week guy.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky. My wife Dolores is very resilient, and she sees that I do it for her and the family.
Yeah.
But
That's something I wanted to ask about as well, because I think I've witnessed it. I know you've probably witnessed it as well. Is just from starting the companies. Like I'm as invested in my company as you could possibly be. You're the same. So I do spend 18 hours a day working on the business. I'm pretty much always at my desk or out meeting people or so on. How, for someone that is always doing something in one way or the other, how do you manage that family relationship at the same time as trying to build something that's completely different to anything else?
Well, you know, I will make sure that both of my daughters feel loved. I'll randomly send a bouquet of flowers to the house. Like I sent one the other day to my wife's 12 red roses saying it doesn't need to be Valentine's Day for me to tell you I love you. Why would I not be doing that to my wife? When I'm with my wife and kids, I'm with them.
Yeah.
My wife is definitely the boss of my life as well. There's no shit about that. There's no doubt. But if I go back 4 years, I became obsessed with success to the point that I forgot how important family was.
Yeah.
And now I don't. And I know it might sound bad, but come 3 o'clock on a Friday, right through to a Monday morning, I'm a complete dad and a husband. Even on a Thursday night, I'm picking my daughter up from work. On a Friday morning, I go to the gym with my youngest daughter. We go to the best 5-star hotel in Belfast, the Merchant, and have breakfast every single Friday. I'm a granddad to my granddaughter Nova, my other daughter Rihanna, my youngest is Farah. I try and be a top dad. I try and be the best husband I can be. Because why would I not want to be? I'm as much in love right now with my wife as I was from the day I met her.
Amazing. How long have you been together?
16 years.
Wow. And I'd assume at this stage now.
What did you say?
I said, wow.
No, you didn't. I'm going to teach you something.
What did I say?
I assume.
Yeah. You don't like that word?
Because if you assume you've made an ass out of you and me, you haven't fucking checked. And it's a master of all disasters.
Yeah.
So
Good
please
advice.
ban it from your life.
Well, I was about to go on to say that I would assume,
There you go.
I won't say it again, that you're in a position now that you don't need to keep working. You know, you've probably,
I love it,
but you know it. Yeah, I was going to say, you know, could you, you know, what keeps you going from where, you know, the situation you're in now where you could just spend time with your family, your wife, your granddaughters, and your daughters?
Well, you know, for me at 50 years old now, I want to leave legacy wealth.
Yeah.
Like I've wrote a book, Fearless. It's been a big hit.
Yeah.
It's being launched in Australia. I'm acting in movies. Property portfolios, the mentoring business. I want my wife, my kids, my grandkids, my great grandkids to say, well, my granddad done this. I want them to be proud of me and leave a legacy. So going back 20 minutes ago, success is definitely my duty. Like being able to jump on a private jet and have those luxuries still comes from hard work. And when I'm looking at people like Grant, who's in his 60s, he's still knocking it out of the park.
Still got the
Anybody at that level is... And success leaves clues. So all I'm doing is watching what they're doing. And I'm doing the same.
Just doing the same. Just doubling down.
I think our guest last week said that as well. Success leaves clues.
Well, you did say that he was your coach.
Yeah, well, there we go. That makes sense. Of Terry, you were his coach. That is exactly what he
Terry
said
Stone?
to us. Terry Blackburn. Yeah. So there's no, you have no plans then, say, you sat on a ton of money, sat on a massive portfolio doing this. There's no plans to stop.
That would bore the life out of me.
Yeah. And you know that if you did that, you'd then go back and do something else anyway. If you just sold up.
There's just the mentoring for me will be the biggest thing I've ever done. There's no doubt. It's about to go global. We've already got clients from Las Vegas and Ireland and Northern Ireland and the UK and Poland. We found an amazing new ads company who's running paid ads for us. It's just going to explode. I'm going to Australia for my book Fearless. It's being launched there in October. I'm doing an event in the Sydney Opera House in in January. 2,500 people with the amazing Tim Story. Tim Story's always on the Oprah Winfrey show. He's worked with Barack Obama. And I keep telling myself to raise my standards. And every day I'll look, how can I be better today? And some people might think, like, that's hectic. But it's my life and I love it.
Yeah, you must love it.
I love it.
You must really enjoy it.
I do love it.
Absolutely.
And I don't like being able to, I would not like to be able to look myself in the mirror at night knowing that I didn't give it 1,000,000% every day.
Yeah.
I will look, I'm constantly getting into a taxi and looking, where's my next win today?
So something I wanted to ask as well is, you've just got this winning mentality, full stop. I know it was a winners win.
Winners win.
Winners
I
win.
was going to say, what does that mean?
What does that mean? But also,
Speaks for itself.
Yeah.
What happens if you have a day that is just appalling? Nothing's gone right for you that day. Is it just cool, rewrite it, or is there like, no, I'm going to go out and I'm going to like sort myself out in one way or the other and start again, crack on? Is it just what?
For
what
me,
do you do?
you're laying the foundations for an amazing day the next day. Also, if I have the worst day of my life and I'm still sober, I'm still a winner.
Yeah.
So, you know, I look at things differently.
Yeah.
You know, waking up in the morning, my feet touching the ground, I'm winning. My best friend died 3 years ago. You know, he doesn't get to see his beautiful wife and kids. I do.
Yeah.
I'm winning every fucking day.
Yeah.
And so are you guys.
love
You just
that
need to be
attitude.
looking at things
It is,
differently.
yeah. I need a bit
It's
more
just
of
such
that
a
because-
different mindset from so many people that because most people like winning for them is I've just done a massive deal. I've just sold that £20 million house and made myself X amount of money. But I think when you really rein it back now and go, actually, you need to look at every single thing as a win. It's like setting goals. You start with the small wins of the day and you work up and they get bigger and bigger as you go.
Yeah, like a win for me this morning was being able to do cardio and get on the train in time.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge win because I've got it
Absolutely.
timed to perfection. I'm like, yes, bro. Do you know what I mean? That's a win.
Yeah.
And
Love
then
it.
working solid for 2 odd hours on a train is a win.
Yeah.
Do you ever procrastinate? Like, is there ever a point where you think,
I don't even understand the
The word.
definition. I don't even want to try and say it.
yeah.
It's a disgusting little word for little weird people.
Yeah.
How could you procrastinate?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, if you really want to succeed.
Yeah.
Do you,
Like,
and
what?
do you have like a coach yourself? Or does all of this stuff, is this all original to you, this way of thinking? Or is there just certain
I've
things that you
always
take
been
from
full
other
on.
people?
You know, I'm constantly listening to podcasts and Grant Cardone, and I also make sure I'm always sitting in a room with people who are worth 200 million, 300 million, 400 million, or 500 million. And sometimes it could just be a sentence like, how do we de-risk this situation? And you're like, what did you just say? You're like, fuck, de-risk.
Absolutely.
Like from you, Mr. Property, how do we de-risk the next deal?
Yeah.
You know, you should be, every single day is a school day.
Yeah.
And it's also my duty to get more and more knowledge so I can coach my mentoring clients even better.
Yeah. It's knowledge is power, isn't it?
And confidence is power, and power is confidence. You know, it's...
So you're still like even now after you've done everything, it's still a daily learning, trying to work out what can be added and what can be done.
Like, I was writing down reels in my diary coming on the train. So then over the next few days, I've already wrote down very positive content that will either help one person or help thousands when I put something out.
And do you think?
But it's me. I've been listening to a podcast and somebody else has spoken. I love that sentence, and then I've turned it into a paragraph. That sentence has taught me, and my paragraph I'm going to teach others. Because no matter what way you want to look at it, you two right now are doing an amazing job because your podcast is serving others. So you should be commended for it. You're doing great. Well done.
Thank
but
you.
you're doing this to get more eyeballs on your business. But there'll also
win-win.
be content in this that will serve somebody else.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Like an amazing guy or girl might be, flip, I need to contact Tom or contact somebody to do alcohol.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you're serving. You're doing really well.
And how do you think? So talking about socials and reels and things like that, how has that? Do you think that's helped your businesses, or is it just a side thing that you do for fun?
No, I don't really like having fun. I just like being super serious on everything.
What do you think of work-life balance?
Sorry. But yeah, social media is the most amazing tool that's ever been made if you use it correctly. I also have clients who I've had to coach that have been coming out and telling the truth that they've been wasting 2 or 3 hours a day on TikTok.
Yeah.
And when you do understand algorithms on how your phone can draw you in, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
You know, it can become an addiction.
Yeah.
But I just see it as the most amazing tool. So a question I have for you guys, who can be everywhere at once at any one time?
God.
Well done. Love it. It's called omnipresence. And from a social media point of view, that's the experience that you should be giving your clients.
Yeah.
If you go onto LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, or even Tinder,
Yeah.
you need to be there. Now, your missus mightn't like that. But my point is,
Yeah,
on
probably.
social media, you need to be everywhere
Just
at once,
everywhere.
or you're not contending. You need to become a face of the industry.
Yeah.
Now, with that comes haters. You know, your confidence is knocked sometimes. not mine, but people's is. And it's how you deal with all those situations. But social media is the most amazing tool to start a business, a brand. But it has to be the consistency of putting content out.
I was going to say, yeah, consistent. How often do you post?
10 times a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's it,
More.
like inclusive stories, reels, photos, doesn't
Everything.
matter. Just
Complete
everywhere.
saturation.
Just bang, bang, bang.
Off.
Yeah.
To the point where people are like, man, fuck, you're never off that TikTok.
Yeah.
Do you follow me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming out of airports and taxi drivers saying, yeah, we man from TikTok. That's me, mate.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're just seeing that it works. And then when you're doing an amazing business deal in Liverpool on a brilliant block of apartments because some cracking guys called you and we've done a deal from LinkedIn, it just speaks for itself.
And it's all free as well.
It is free.
You do, like even if you don't promote, like you pay for the paid promotions and so on, it's literally free exposure.
It is free. And you simply need to get over yourself that you're not that important. If you want to use this as a tool, do it. And the only thing that's ever going to hold you back in life anyway is you. And I've never let myself hold myself back. And I never will. And some people are very scared about putting the phone or camera on them. And I was definitely that guy because I grew up in a country where if you genuinely put your head above the parapet, you had your head shot off.
Yeah.
So for me to like come on and say, "Hi guys, my name's Tom," I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I put a post out and it went viral.
Yeah.
And I just went, wow.
What was your first post and where was it?
In Liverpool, I showed a block of flats that we had just taken in the middle of COVID. A week later, I went and looked at a block of flats in Glasgow and it was torrential rain. I didn't realise I was standing on video and water's running down my face. And I think it hit something like 280,000 views on LinkedIn. People from America were texting me saying, "Are you crazy, bro?" And I'm like, yeah. But then I just seen the power of it had unleashed itself and I went, I need to tap into this.
Yeah.
Now I'm very lucky I have another company called Dream Social. And because I know social so well, we're running other people's socials, our clients, brand new clients that are coming to us and saying, you do it very well, can you run ours? And people are winning, you know.
So you've got your fingers in so many pies. haven't
Yeah,
you?
I was going to say,
Jesus.
how many businesses total?
I think I've run out of count. 12 companies.
12 companies. And how do you manage 12 companies? How much staff between all of those?
Accountability is my best friend.
Yeah. But
It's
I mean, in terms of actual, like even just admin or just hours of
people
the day.
reporting to me, but
Yeah.
you know, I've got an amazing business partner in a construction company. We're going to open a new big facilities management company. I'll bring most of the work. He'll bring the structure. But then I'll be checking him. He'll be checking me. I've people reporting to me. I have Ashley, who runs my Dream Mentoring. I call her my Dream Mentoring genius. Danielle, my PA. My wife keeps me on point. My eldest daughter runs my hotel business. She's off on maternity leave at the minute, but she is razor sharp. My youngest daughter's coming up through the ranks. She will definitely be iconic in the property world because she wants it so bad. And she's a real fighter too. She fought for Ireland internationally in Taekwondo.
Really?
Wow.
So they're all go-getters. And I'm very lucky to have... I'm nothing in life without my team. That's it. And I have an amazing team.
Yeah.
I really do. They're
So your
bulletproof.
network is your net worth type thing. Is the people around you are the ones that.
But even like you,
Yeah.
who is flourishing, is your solicitor doing a good enough job? Are they closing deals quick enough? Because if they're not, they need to go.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
they're called your support network.
Yeah.
They need to be working at your speed, not the other way around.
Yeah,
Because you know what people forget? You're their client.
Yeah.
You're not doing them a favour. You're paying them a fee.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're introducing the business.
Absolutely.
And like I have a solicitor in Belfast. He does all my property stuff. He is the best.
Yeah.
Alaric, he is absolutely the best.
Yeah.
And when you find people like that,
Cling on to them.
you're on it then.
Yeah. Like one more one thing that I wanted to touch on. I don't think we've spoken about it too much. Dream mentoring.
Yeah.
How much do you think that's actually changed people's lives?
To the point of people say, "You've saved my husband's life. He was going to kill himself." Yesterday I had an amazing client in Glasgow who had theft in one of his companies, who was going to explode. He was also very upset. And within 5 minutes he had realised when I spoke to him that somebody doing that in his amazing company, it's also unfortunately part of growth and part of the process.
Yeah.
And it's not personal.
Yeah.
The more we looked at it, the guys that done it maybe had an addiction. You know, maybe they had to do it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm very lucky to be able to say I've changed hundreds of people's lives. And I want to, in my prayers in the mornings, I say to God, please help me be an inspiration and motivation to 1 billion people. And I believe over the next 10, 15 years, with the power of social media, I'll hit 1 billion people.
Wow.
in some shape or form.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing 2,000 odd people in Australia, you're opening into new crowds.
Absolutely.
I'll definitely start conquering America when it comes to mentoring. There's a lot of people would call themselves coaches and mentors. They've never done anything in their life.
Yeah. There's a lot of that online, isn't there?
That
as well,
fake
about
nonsense.
people?
Like I'm real.
Yeah.
And I
I've
pride
been
myself
there,
on
I've done it. I'm now teaching how I've done it type thing.
Yeah,
'Cause
I've
there's
wrote
a
the
lot.
book, literally. I've acted in the movie. Yeah. I've done all of it. I've like addiction nearly fucking killed me.
Yeah.
What would you like me to say? I'm bulletproof. I grew up in a war.
Yeah.
Keep lining it up.
Yeah.
So then you can say to somebody, don't do that.
Yeah.
Why? I've already did that.
So
it's my job to prevent you from making that mistake.
So is dream mentoring then, is that like support, or is it like teaching people how to do certain things?
Yeah,
Or-
dream mentoring. Thank you for asking me about it too, because it means a lot to me. My clients that are on the group do 2 live sessions a week.
Right.
One on a Monday night is a coaching session by me, and I always come up with a brand new subject that Monday, and I write it so it's raw and real. There's also a community of people all staying in touch through our portal, and they're all sharing each other's wins every day, and it's this amazing community of people, and it's super active, the portal. A Thursday night's a Q&A where I will troubleshoot. And this is for the masses that are on the mentoring group. I also have elite clients that are all one-to-one clients, and that can be people that are in specialist care for children, boxers, film directors, right the whole way up through to huge air conditioning companies and so on and so on. And people are coming to you because everybody needs a coach. Like when I was in Miami recently, the whole talk at GrowthCon by Grant Cardone and Tim Grover, the whole storyline, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, who I'm very lucky to meet, and Mike Tyson. Everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs to work hard. Hard work works. That was the whole line. Every person needs a mentor, a coach. And the UK is only starting to wake up to it, that they really do. Same with Ireland and Northern Ireland. And I believe now people are understand self-investment, self-development is always the best investment. Because when you invest in you, you will pay yourself huge dividends.
Yeah. I think it's the case with the UK and America thing, though. I think we're about 20 years behind the States on pretty much
100%.
everything in every way.
Yeah,
whether
look,
that be
I would see
property
people in America spending 50,000 instantly on a course.
Yeah.
And people here would be like, are you for real?
Yeah.
Like I have clients that spend a lot of money with me. I have a client in Scotland, Scott, who has went from 6 figures a year to 6 figures a month.
Really?
He's bought a Lambo, paid cash,
Jesus.
and he deserves every single bit of the success that he has.
Absolutely.
Why? Because he's investing in himself.
Yeah.
He's doing a one-to-one session with me once a week or once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's no fluke that he's winning because he's putting the work into him.
So are you leading him through then in that kind of sense? Are you like, is he coming to you and saying, I've done this week, I've done this week, how can I improve? What's your advice on how to do
And
it?
a lot of the time for me, I'll say to clients, dream bigger and think bigger.
Yeah.
Don't dominate a city or dominate a country. Dominate an entire, Great Britain, United Kingdom, break into Europe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be the best mentor in the UK or Ireland. I want to be the best mentor in the world.
Yeah.
Why would I not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, dream big. Even if you don't get your dream, you're still significantly further away than if you go, oh yeah, I just want to be the biggest person in this little town.
Limitless thinking.
I've
You
always
have
said
to
the
be.
same as well, because if you aim down here, then you're probably going to get down here.
Yeah.
But if you aim up here, then you might get somewhere,
Well,
in here, which
well,
is much better than the
we've just
alternative.
mentioned success leaves clues. Grant Cardone says, 10x. You're better going for 10 million, falling short and hitting 7, than going for 1 million, falling short and hitting 700k.
Yeah.
It speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd rather go for 1 billion and fall short and hit 500 million. Who the fuck wouldn't?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And to be honest, I can't give you the facts.
Yeah.
But it'll
Yeah.
come out.
But
I'm in the middle of a multi-billion-dollar deal right now
Yeah.
Wow.
that I didn't even see coming. A dental deal that's going to take over the world. From a client in the UK with Cardone Ventures and Brandon Dawson.
Amazing.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And you're involved in
I'm
that.
the bridge.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. And just on that, then, that probably brings us to our kind of closing question on money specifically. How much money would you say is enough money?
I think, for me, I would love to hit 1 billion.
Yeah.
In my mantra that I write, I am a billionaire, and it feels so right writing it.
Yeah.
And then when you bring a deal to the table and it feels so normal that you could become this, why the fuck would I not want 1 billion?
And you think with that deal coming in, that's a possibility?
100%. Like, I am all over it, and everybody else is all over it, and everybody wants it. There's no animosities. everybody wants to, let's go, let's do this. And it's exciting. It's so exciting. Life is so exciting when you're allowed to be.
Absolutely.
No poor me in my life. Like.
No, absolutely. Go out, get it, win. No one's going to do it for you.
Yeah, but can I, just before you guys finish, I would just like to say, I think the two of you interviewed amazingly today. and it's been my pleasure coming to see the two.
Thank you. No,
It's
really
been amazing having you on.
My pleasure as well. It's been a bit, it's been mind-opening, hasn't it? Got us in the zone. It's what we needed.
We've done a few of these now, and they've all been in different industries, but I think this is the first one I've had so far where I've kind of like, I've been sat, when you're feeling like, come on then, let's go and get it. I've been sat here going, come on then, let's go and get it. Let's go and win. So thank you so much for coming on, because I think it's not only given us stuff to think about, but for everyone that's going to be listening and watching, there's just so much to pick out there in every literally 2 minutes of this podcast. It's been something. So I'm very grateful for you to come on. Thank you.
Totally, my pleasure.
Thanks, Tom.
Right, well, that's the end of episode 5 of Open Book. Episode 6, thank you very much. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Happy, yeah?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thanks, mate. Yeah.
We'll just get a photo before everyone goes.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get a photo.
I have to go to Victoria Beckham and buy a fucking dress for my wife.
You're going to see Victoria Beckham?
No, I'm going to like her store to buy a dress for my wife.
Oh, right.